10 years ago this week, I gathered the courage to join the World Wide Web and go on my first internet forum. Finally, I'd no longer be restricted to simple wikis or info pages for kids, and my curiosity would open the door to a world that has helped me for the past decade, leading to who I am today and introducing me to a bunch of friends, hardships, and adventures. This is the story of my first internet forum I've ever been on, Animal Crossing Community.
Hello everyone, it's me, Con from Seafoam Gaming, back with a very special episode of Eternal Memories. I thought I wouldn't get this out in time, and in a way I kinda didn't. It's unlikely that this episode is going public on the 23rd of May, because I have to finish it up and I've been so busy lately and stressed. I mentioned in the website post all the stuff that's been bugging me down, including the loss of my friend. But I'm still working on this, and I was working on this behind the scenes, so you should see it the weekend of 23rd unless something really bad happens or I just get, busy again. So what's so special about the 23rd of May? You may ask or wonder. Even if you read the title, you may wonder why it's a random internet forum and not just, the internet in general. Well, let me explain. Back in 2009, I was a very sheltered person, but not nearly as sheltered as when I was very little. For one thing, I had these signs all over the place, and they gone away now since I'm an adult. So hey, I get to talk about that. But anyways, when I was little, after I got relocated from my birth mother's, I visited her on a monthly basis with the help of some social workers, and we'd still have some fun times until 2012, but you could learn about all that in the last episode. But needless to say, this was during a period of my life when I see my mom, hoped that maybe things would get better and I could move in with her again because I didn't know the full story at the time. And I was just pretty much innocent. I had no flashbacks of my past, no reason to worry, and I was as carefree as I could be. The only thing I was dealing with was just the 5th grade, because I was in elementary school still. So yeah, this was around early 2009, and for context, as I said in a few other episodes, I barely used the internet for anything before then. In all honesty, I didn't even know game guides existed until late 2008 when I looked up a 4 Swords Adventures guide so I could beat the final stage of that awful game. But that's another story for another time. Needless to say, I didn't even know what game guide was. The most I knew was Cerebi and Bulbapedia. But I couldn't join those places because I was under the age of 13. Same with YouTube, which I discovered when I wanted to look up more information about that Sonic cartoon. And there were lots of 4 episodes on YouTube, so I went to YouTube. This was like early 2007, when it was like an infant. And I'm surprised it's so old. But again, another story for another time. However, by late 2008, I was 10 years old. The Pokemon trainer age, fun fact. And I was kind of wanting to know more and get more involved with the internet. So, since school started teaching me about going to other websites besides the safe school sites, I went to Google and looked up random stuff. I looked up Pokemon websites, and that's how I found more sites besides Cerebi and Bulbapedia, like PokeBeach, Maryland, Pocket Monsters Net, to name a few examples. And for Zelda, I found Zelda Dungeon. I think that's what I want to... Well, maybe Zelda Universe. I don't know if any of those were around, except Zelda Dungeon. I think they were around back then. But I did find some Zelda sites, and I found some Pokemon sites. And I was wondering, hey, where else can I go? So I looked up Animal Crossing sites, and I didn't find anything at the time, believe it or not. I found game facts, community boards, but again, over 13 to join, I was 10. And I was an honest guy. I would not lie about my age, so I just patiently waited until I was of age. But a few months later, in late 2008, around November, I was having a dilemma. For some reason, my Animal Crossing GameCube game that I picked up, animal villagers were moving out on a 10-day cycle and I could not break it. It was like Groundhog Day, but everything bad would happen on the 10th day. And I couldn't find any info on the internet or through YouTube. I was tempted to make a YouTube account and message this guy named JVGS Jeff, who was a big Animal Crossing YouTuber, see if he would know anything about the game's clock structure, but I didn't because I was underage and I didn't know how to contact him. So I was stressed and kind of nervous, but yeah, in the end I ended up shelving Animal Crossing from GameCube for a while because I didn't know how to stop the animals from moving. And And I was just so sad, and I couldn't handle them moving when I was so long, because, I don't know, they felt like friends to me. It's kind of silly to think about it, but the Animal Crossing Villagers meant a lot to me because the game I picked up just to play NES games ended up being a game I liked because it was actually good. So I ended up getting Animal Crossing City Folk in December for my Wii because that was a new Animal Crossing and it had Wi-Fi. My friend Zach owned a Wii and I was going to do Wi-Fi with him. And we did Wi-Fi and had fun together, and Wii Speak was actually kind of fun to use, I'm not going to lie. So we go to May 2009, and this is where our story continues. Because in May 2009, I discovered Animal Crossing Community, and this was my first internet forum that I would ever join, and it sets the stage for basically the rest of my career on the internet. 10 years ago, of the day I'm filming this, I joined the internet. And 10 years later, I now run a video game website, a YouTube channel, and I've worked with so many developers and publishers, and I'm so happy. And I've met hundreds of great friends online too. So yeah, let's get into what Animal Crossing Community is all about, and why I love the site, and why I remember it fondly.
So how did I not already end up on an internet forum before May 23rd? And why was Animal Crossing Community the first one I ever picked? Well, as I mentioned before, I was sheltered before then, and even as I was opening up to the internet more and school was helping me and my grandma was helping me, I obviously wasn't old enough to be on most internet sites I did know about, being 11 years old compared to the standard 13 that they required. I never would lie about my age on any site, so I just waited until I was old enough. I'm an honest person after all, so I just waited until it was my time. Keep in mind, back in 2009, the internet wasn't really as big of a deal as we treat it as nowadays. YouTube was a 4-year-old site with hardly any copyright restrictions, although it's still increasing that regard over the course of the year, and I discovered it on complete accident as I mentioned earlier. Besides YouTube videos showing me some games I was curious about, I had little else to go in order to search up something. No game guide sites until late 2008, and I mostly stuck to official websites as I said before. So am I frantically worried about how to get some types of fruit in Animal Crossing City Folk, seeing how you had to go to other towns via the Wi-Fi service and how my friend Zach already gave me his fruit, I had nowhere to turn to. So one day, I searched up something on my DSi web browser, probably something along the lines of Wi-Fi friend called Animal Crossing City Folk, and there it was, Animal Crossing Community, in a state similar to this back in 2009, through the web archive. I was pretty shocked that there was a community of Animal Crossing fans all here, willing to help out with Wi-Fi stuff and being friendly to newcomers. Looking at the rules, it seemed simple, just don't swear, don't be a jerk, use common sense and be nice, and seeing how it allowed people of all ages for that reason, I joined the site on that same day. So the first thing I did once I joined the site was friend request a total stranger who offered fruit in his city folk town with the message, "Are you safe?" That was due to me growing up with the notion that the internet forums and chat rooms of the world were super deadly chambers of creepers wanting to hurt you with no good people on there whatsoever. And having nearly died years prior to my grandparents adopting me, they were beyond strict with me communicating with anyone online. They wanted me to be safe after all. Now this guy wasn't named Temp Name 1107 like you see now, because when I sent a request to him he had a different name. But needless to say, he accepted my Wi-Fi request and we played that same day and had a good time. I got the fruit I needed, and even though I wasn't really the most courteous since I wasn't sure how to play the game around other people, it was a really interesting and fun experience. And since it went well the first time, I figured I'd stick around the site and see what the rest of the site had to offer. In comes my dad on that day, who flips his lid when he learns that I'm on the internet talking to strangers. My dad isn't the brightest when it comes to the internet, to be blunt, having a very strict and notable anti-internet stance to this very day, meaning that he doesn't really care to use the internet unless he absolutely has to, and that applies to him living on his own without any internet or any desire to get internet. So he assumed that me sneaking in the chat time on my DSi to talk to strangers was a sign that I was going to get my butt kicked by them or assaulted again. I was grounded for the rest of the day, but my grandmother convinced him that it was okay as long as she kept an eye on me at times and made sure I was okay, and I told her everything I knew. So after that weird conflict, my first month on Animal Crossing Community consisted of me being a goof and asking dumb questions, friend requesting random people to get all the pieces of fruit I needed, and when I finally got everything I wanted, I just added some other games I play over Wi-Fi to my catalog, and it'll make sure that maybe I could get friends for them as well. Man, remember the awful friend code system of the DS and Wii? You may groan and get angsty over the Switch friend codes, but at least they notify the other party if you add them, and they are consistent for every game. On the DS and Wii, you had to add both codes on both sides for every single game, and it was beyond painful. Those are some memories I do not enjoy, and I'm so glad the Wii U and the Switch killed off that old system. But with that ramble out of the way, let's talk about some features Animal Crossing community had that made me intrigued during the first month and beyond. Obviously, there was the friend code system I mentioned before, though you couldn't share the friend codes through posts or signatures, so you had to use that private request system on the site. From here, you'd get the codes for every game they had listed on the page, and you could rate them accordingly depending on how well the sessions went. This was a great idea, since the DS Animal Crossing had a notorious issue of a hacker with action replay came to the town. They could literally plant buildings and trees and basically make it impossible to get out of the house. So this was a good way to know if someone was trustworthy. You could also publish your own towns from all 3 games in order to give would-be visitors an idea on what to expect by showing a replica of them, though I find it funny that to this day New Leaf towns are still marked as coming soon, despite the Switch game and Happy Home designer being a thing since then. In fact, City Folk was that way for so long, but they only recently added like 5-6 years ago, so it's a kind of unused feature to be honest. You can even make your own town tunes and share them with others so they can copy the notes, like those old Eevee cards we went over in Season 2. Nobody used the town feature much though, so I'm surprised it's still here along with the town tunes. Even the pattern features here on this website. Using similar tools to the GameCube one, you can create your own patterns just like in that game, or find ones other users made and try copying them in-game using the Flash tool they had. For a game that didn't have Wi-Fi connection, this was a brilliant way to get new content from friends for the GameCube game, although I was really terrible at copying patterns and didn't really do much besides doodle my own and goof off, as you can see from these ancient examples I dug up. Besides that, there were of course the forums, the main attraction, the main source of aiming here, since this was where you could talk about all things Animal Crossing with boards for each game in the franchise. One reason I went to the forums was because I was such a huge fan of GameCube Animal Crossing that I'd play it religiously. And as I said earlier, I got scared when my animals started to move away on a consistent pattern. No matter what I did, I couldn't get the 10-day cycle to break, and then one day I stayed inside my favorite animal's house on the 10th day, leaving the GameCube on overnight to make sure that he would not move, and sure enough when I left the quadrant and returned to the tile he was on, his house was gone, and I was devastated. So I went to the forums to ask for help on how I get the cycle to stop, and unfortunately I learned that you can't stop animals from moving. But it wasn't supposed to be a set amount of days. So I learned thanks to the community that if I visited another town on a separate memory card, an animal from my town would be forced to move to the new place, so I made a secondary town that I could just basically have him trade back and forth like Pokemon. Good thing I did too, since the dreaded Michael card has my original town on it, and I know of no way to move it off the memory card, since it's notorious for corrupting at random, and I've not touched it in decades, well, 1 decade, because I've been scared about it just blowing up on me. I really would like a way to back up my save data and use it in Dolphin or another memory card, but I have not found a way to do that, so it's stuck on the memory card. Nevertheless, it wasn't so much of a problem back then, but these forums were a great source of info and I learned a lot of cool tips there about the GameCube game and made a lot of friends who also played it.
So with some of those other cool features of Animal Crossing community out of the way, let's look at the one that I was obsessed with as an 11-year-old, the trading board. This was where you could basically trade in-game items. Animal Crossing for GameCube had a handy password system where if you want to trade, you'd give the item to Tom Nook, he'd give you a password, and then you give the password to a certain person in a certain town, and they get the item. The only problem with it was if someone had the same town name as you, then he wouldn't let you give it because he'd assume they were in the same town as you. Besides that, the trade system was pretty clever and I really liked it. Got a lot of helpful items from other Animal Crossing players in that game, and it was just a fun way to trade. City Folk, you could just trade online by going to another person's town, so the need for a trading board was kind of weird, but I still did it off and on, and I thought, hey, that was kind of fun. That's how I basically got my other fruits in the towns, actually. But we get to the main reason I love the trading board, and I have the most fondest memories. The e-reader trades. And yeah, this may not look like anything, but I'll tell you what it was in a moment. So, yeah, remember my e-reader episode last season where I mentioned that I traded some e-reader cards and I got some back, and it was a great time. I got a lot of Animal Crossing series not amiibo cards, e-reader cards. Well, I did get a lot of e-reader cards, and that's how I built my collection. I was so proud to trade a bunch of stuff, and over the years I traded so many cards that I had lost count which ones I gave and which ones I lost. Because there was actually one time when I did trade a couple of cards and they just... Look, I don't think they got lost in the mail, they just arrived somewhere, and the guy never sent me his cards. So I left him negative feedback. But outside that one bad experience, I had great memories of, well, the trade system. Right here is a CD case. Now, CD case may sound kind of dumb, but this is the same CD case that had one of my first Animal Crossing e-reader cards in it. This guy named SugarBob46 on the website traded me, I don't know what it is, some pattern card, a Shine Sprite Mario maybe, not with Seti, I don't think I have him. I just know he traded me some e-reader card I really wanted and I gave him some in return and he really liked it. And I have his message right on the front. Fortunately, my grandma thought that some Yu-Gi-Oh! Music CD I had laying around was a game, so she scribbled on the box and the message cannot be seen. Unless I bend it like this and... I don't know, it may be hard to see, but I'll read it. Hawkmobile, or Hawkmiblib, that's the name my username on the site. Here's the e-card, I hope you like it. Good luck finishing the collection. SugarBob46. So yeah, that was a lovely message. I've had it saved in my game shelf for years now, and I wonder where that guy is now. I don't think he's on the site anymore because, well, activity on the site's been dropping. But if I can find that guy, link him this video, and tell him to just thank him for making me happy when I was 11 years old and now I'm 21, that'll just mean the world to me. I don't even care this video doesn't get much views like most of my other episodes don't. I'd at least want him to see it. So maybe you can help me, or maybe I can help myself. I don't know. But yeah, that's an example of one great trade, and let's think of some other good trades. There was two guys I remember trading with quite a lot. This guy named Colin Wallace who was on the site, and he lived from the Midwest, not far from me. And he and I would trade e-reader cards so often for a few months, and I think he was the one that helped me get a lot of my Series 1 collection completed and vice versa. Then there was this guy named Joshua Hyslop, that was his username, and he and I traded some cards too, but he got inactive around 2011 or so I didn't really trade with him as long as Colin Wallace. But needless to say, I got two of them, and we had fun. I even bought some cards from Colin Wallace's eBay account, because my grandma had an eBay account, and she let me, look up stuff on it, so she would buy it for me if she thought it was good. So I got some eBay cards that way, too. So that's how the trading posts were on Animal Crossing community, and I see a lot of good memories. I think another memory something I really regret, honestly, was how I mentioned earlier that I was really worried about stranger danger because of all the internet paranoia that the media put out during that time because of Facebook and creeps and How to Catch a Predator, basically destroying perception of internet friends. Well, one time I was trading e-cards with this guy from Canada who was really nice, I'm not gonna lie. I think his name was eJam or something, that was his username. And I was about to send him some cards, and he was about to send me some cards, and I gave him my address like I usually did, but I left off my last name and put my last initial there. Somehow, I don't know why, I don't know if it's because I guessed, if he looked it up or whatnot, but he found out my last name in full, and somehow I just got so scared. So scared that he may try to come to my house and hurt me. I was overreactive and reported him to the mods because I was scared he was going to just hurt me. After all, I've been hurt in the past by my mom's boyfriend, and I've had a home invasion before, so it's not like I had no reason to worry, even though my grandparents are pretty safe people to deal with. So I just could not trust him. Even when he called me, told me it was fine, and it was just him double checking to make sure the address was okay, I overblew it. The mods basically told me, yeah, you overblew it, but you can cancel the trade. And I don't know, I feel so awful about that. I don't even know what else should happen outside of him being very sad and bummed. I don't know, to me it's the equivalent of like accusing some guy who hangs around kids to be a creep, even though they were just trying to help the kid cross the street or something. It felt really wrong and overreactive for me to just go that route because this guy just wanted to make sure the card was going to the right place. I swore I saw someone with his username on Nintendo World Report, but I've never reached out to him to see if it was him. I've never reached out to this guy ever again, actually. So if you see this video, eJammer or whatever, please accept my apologies 10 years later. But yeah, that's one rough experience with the cards, but besides that, it was a great time, and I'd love to do it again. They actually reopened the trading board out of so many years because amiibo cards now a thing, but I don't like amiibo cards, and even the card community is still kind of dead, so I may never get to have the joy of trading e-cards ever again. Maybe someday, but not now.
So with the trading post and the main game forums out of the way, you also had forums for other miscellaneous stuff such as site support, suggesting features, and an off-topic discussion board. There was even a fan fiction board where I got my first steps in writing anything lengthy to horrible results. Seriously, the grammar of these stories are so abysmal that I'm shocked the staff even allowed me to have them on the site. I have them all saved on my computer, but they're in an old AppleWorks format, and I'd rather not dig them up and reconfigure them just yet. So maybe in a future episode over my early fanfics I'll share them, but right now I leave them rightfully buried. I will say that one of the scariest calls I've ever had on the site was when I was a naive 11-year-old, 1 month after I joined, addicted to the site and plugging in a USB keyboard to my Wii and going on the internet browser to communicate with people and write my fanfic. Remember, this was before smartphones became common, and we had no computers up in our vacation cabin, so it was my Wii or nothing. Now imagine writing a fanfiction through that browser and thinking of an action-packed scene. For context, this scene I was writing was of my villager character based off myself, helping defend Petty the Pelican from a rob of some kind. Since Animal Crossing isn't one for violence, I had to think of some way to trip him or get him off our trail, so what word did I think trip was a synonym for since I thought trip was too lame and ordinary to use? Well, Criminal Minds was playing on in the background, and since that was an action-packed show and I knew nothing about it because I was young, I heard the word rape and thought, for some stupid reason, it was a synonym for tripping people. So I almost used it as a synonym, since my 11-year-old self had no clue what the word even meant, and I only added it because my grandma had it in the background, and I was like, oh cool, wait, that sounds like an action-packed punch or something. Needless to say, I asked my grandma to spell it, and she was mortified and rushed over to the television so fast to tell me to never use that word to describe anything in the story, since it was very naughty and I could be in big trouble. So I went with tripping instead, and I thank her to this day for saving me from a ban, because I probably would have been permanently banned for that, even if I knew nothing of what was going on. Nevertheless, as I got used to navigating the site and making friends, I learned that they were really dead set on it being Animal Crossing focused, so outside the off-topic boards and private threads, you couldn't really talk about other franchises on the site. That's the reason why the only avatars you can assign yourself are preset ones that use artwork of every neighbor in the franchise, alongside some pretty backgrounds. It was a shame too, since as a big Pokemon fan I lacked a robust community to talk about them with, so I decided to find some Pokemon fans and make my own on a website in the fall of 2009. After a good sum of e-reader trading, fanfic writing, getting in trouble as an 11-year-old with the staff, and Wi-Fi fun. Buckle up folks, as this is going to be a very bumpy ride since I ended up getting cyberbullied over Pokemon for very petty reasons.
Yes, I was cyberbullied on an Animal Crossing website. But why did it happen, and how long did it go on for, and was it different than the average internet troll? Well, it's gonna be a bit of a long explanation, and this video's getting long already. This is probably a bit of a downer point in the video, but I need to say it, because if I don't say it, then I'll be basically pretending it never happened. And any of these two people, even though there was like 5 involved, but these two particular people, if you ever see this, I still hate you. Hate you for every bit you did in this attack on me. And here's what happened. So, in late 2009, I was into Pokemon Platinum. And in September 2009, I got Pokemon Soul Silver through importing because it was in Japan. I imported it because I wanted to play Johto again, and I thought I'd have a great fun time. And I did! But since Animal Crossing community only allowed Pokemon related discussions in a private thread or conversation with people, you had to basically go in private in order to get Pokemon games going. And since I know of a website to go to for Pokemon battles, I figured I might as well go with my Animal Crossing friends and see if they like Pokemon too. A lot of them did. I had lots of good battles, lots of good trades. Met a girl named Amanda on there, who was a great friend of mine and still is, even though she hasn't been online in a while. And we traded lots of Pokemon, had a great time. It was a fun experience, to be honest. The Battle Frontier we did together, we battle traded, and there were like at least several dozen friends I played with online that I had a great time with. But then I joined this league of people online who claimed to be a Pokemon league, and basically what they did was if you beat them, the gym leaders, in the battle, you'd get a badge put on your profile by linking to Photo Bucket. And I tried to challenge some of the gym leaders and I couldn't win because they use a technique called EV training. For the uninitiated, EV training is a mechanic that makes it so that if a Pokemon defeats a certain type of Pokemon, then that Pokemon will get a stat boost in a certain stat when they level up. So if you play the cards right, you can get a super powerful Pokemon, but you have to grind on the same species for hours on end. And it's not fun. Let me tell you, when I actually tried it, I was bored within seconds. And recently, as I actually have done it in X and Y with the Horde battle system and with Super Training, because they actually made it more accessible, which I'm good and happy for. Like Ivies, these aren't easy to get, but if you can get them, then the Pokemon has a bit of an advantage, and that's how competitive online play works. People just number crunch an EV battle for death, basically. I in EV battle, so I got my butt kicked all the time because of course I did. So I still had fun matches and I had fun playing the games. As long as I had fun, that's all I cared about because I didn't really want to win, even though I kind of did for the league. But these people in the league just would not have that. This kid who was only 11 would never ever EV train. So that's what I made clear. I'd never EV trained my entire life. And they did not like that. I don't know why, but I guess because I joined a group of competitive Pokemon players and I didn't want to be competitive, they got mad at me. And these two people, this guy named Joey and this guy named Nick, I'm not going to use their usernames because I'm going to respect their privacy, even though I probably shouldn't. These guys were big assholes about it. I'm just going to be blunt. They just did not like that I didn't EV train. So they battled me, I lost, we had some okay times. I did get a bit upset because they kind of poked fun of my team. But overall, we thought I had an okay time. And then they got mad and started poking fun at me for why I was not EV training. I told them I was busy with school and I wanted to play other games than Pokemon all the time, and they made fun of me by calling me a coward for not spending 8 hours a day on Pokemon grinding away. I thought that was stupid, so I thought they were stupid too and ignored them for a while. And needless to say, some of my friends who were into Pokemon as well started to go into this league as well and play with them, and they became friends. I didn't like that, but oh well, I just ignored them. Then I tried making my own Selby.net clone by making a Pokemon forum called DJ Mary's Pokemon Place. It was on a site called webs.com. I don't even know if it exists anymore. It was this crappy website builder with barely any security. I'm surprised anyone ever made a website through that because it could easily get hacked. And I made it, shared it with some people outside of that group, and wanted some friends to join to talk about Pokemon. It was basically like a chat room, a forum of sorts for Pokemon friends. October 12th, 2009, I woke up, got Pokemon Explores the Sky because it just came out, and then the site was raided. A bunch of people from that group and league raided my website and posted NSFW content. To spare you the details to keep the show kid-friendly, it included porn I cannot disclose, and almost borderline illegal content that would get you banned on any site ever, even adult sites. That's the sort of stuff these assholes posted on my website and just filled the photo gallery with. And they basically were just giant jerks. They called me every vulgar name in the book, some names I never heard of before, some slurs I've never heard of before, and just made a wreck out of things. A big wreck out of things. I banned everyone I could, but these guys had like 5 people join them from the league, and they just wrecked my website because I wasn't an EV player and I wanted to be a casual player, a for fun person. And no matter how many times I tried to ban people, and no matter how many times I told my mods to ban them, we couldn't ban them. They just keep coming back. I tried looking for IP bans, but lo and behold, web security is so ass that they don't give you an IP ban, which made me so depressed, and it just got out of control. My grandma was out bowling, my grandpa was in bed, I had no one to turn to, so because I didn't want to get in trouble, I deleted my website because I had no other choice. That made me so demoralized and so upset that, like, these people were so petty to just hack someone, not even hack, just join someone's website, invade, and try to spam with a bunch of nonsense. I've been in Discord raids before, but I'll say that the raid on my website was far worse than most raids in Discord servers, because at least you can ban people easily, and Discord makes it hard to make alternate accounts. At least as many as people did on my site. So I was mad, but some of my friends were friends with the people who raided my website, and they thought I was being overreacting, because I was sad all the time. I guess they were under the belief that sadness made you not masculine, which is BS. So I got mad, and I lost some friends over the dispute because they wanted to be with these so-called popular Poke players, and I just wanted to have fun. So I was very upset and demoralized for the rest of the month. And eventually I gave it another try. My friend Amanda I mentioned earlier, and I made another website. I think it was called the Golden Water Radio Towers. Again, based off the Golden Water Radio Tower. I don't know why. I guess because Soul Silver came out and I wanted it to be Johto themed. So me and my friend worked on this website. We weren't going to make it public yet. We wanted to make sure it was all good and dandy. And it seemed to be fine. But then, on November 8th, when I was doing finishing touches, the site got raided again. Because Amanda told this Nick guy that I was making a website because he was sincerely honest and trying to get me to tell him. And he tried pulling this before. He made a few alternate accounts as a Pokemon fan, trying to get me to give him my website so he could raid it. I reported these to Mars and they banned him, thankfully. But yeah, he was trying to sock puppet his way into my website, and I did not trust him because of what he did. After what sort of vile stuff he posted on my website, why would you trust anyone like that? But needless to say, it was just Joey, Jim, whatever, and Nick, who were back again, somehow making accounts that bypass my, security question settings so that they'd have to answer a security question every time, meaning they couldn't use burner email accounts like they did before. They somehow bypassed that, I guess because web security is so crap, and they started to raid my website. I disabled the photo sharing part, so at least nothing bad on that side got shared this time. But he just sent a bunch of vulgar slurs and vulgarities to me and basically ruined my website. And my friend ruined my trust. And everything was ruined. I was so demoralized and begged my grandma for advice and she just told me to ignore them. But I wouldn't have it. So I confronted them, they just continued it. So I deleted the website and was basically depressed for several months. All over Pokemon. A game that has a competitive side and a casual side that's still played today in the VGC. Because I guess one of them was a teenager, one of them claimed to be, but I found out, he told me later, he boasted that he was 37 or something along those lines, and he liked the bully kids my age because he thought it was funny to see people like me cry for not, learning to be a real Pokemon gamer. Because this gatekeeping, because this elitism, I basically had no respect for the competitive scene. And honestly today, even though I have a bit more respect and I like when world champions win and do impressive stunts, I kind of diss the competitive scene because of what two people who took it too far did to me 10 years ago. I still will not let it go, and I don't think I ever will. But yeah. Needless to say, at least I made some other friends who did understand my preferences and had fun. Even the EV training, we still had fun, and that's what online gaming is supposed to be about. Good news is that Nick guy got permanently banned from the site because he constantly tried to harass me and mock me in private threads about why I was such a childish person for being upset all the time. And as we've seen through all these pictures I've shown through all the reported conversations I kept on hand for 10 years, he was just a jerk. Even if he wouldn't go super vulgar all the time. He was a jerk. The fact that you destroyed an 11-year-old's basically pride and passion was upsetting. And in response, I retaliated against him, in a way. Because my friends and I made another website a few months before my DJ Mary website, that basically was about Pokemon and gaming. But it was mostly for a friend named Katrina and her friend Maxwell, so I was an administrator on it. But when my site got destroyed, this Nick guy was mocking me and making fun, and those other mods were joining in, thinking it was cool that I was a coward and crybaby. So in response, because I knew the password, I deleted the website. I wasn't the owner, but I deleted the website. Because my website was destroyed, I destroyed their website. Nowadays, that's a jerk move. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that nowadays. I don't like the idea of hurting someone else's hard work. He knows only 2 months old. But this whole drama was just so bad. So bad. It's probably the worst internet harassment I've ever gotten. And I've seen what the internet can do. I've seen all my fellow reviewer peers get harassed by this 5-year-old hate group. I've seen women journalists get harassed by anyone for saying anything because they're a girl. I've seen fellow men journalists get harassed because they reviewed games, and because they didn't like the game, a bunch of people got mad and thought they sucked. And maybe they suck at the game, but doesn't mean they can't review the game. Needless to say, I've seen my share of online harassment. I've blocked thousands of people on my Twitter. But this 2009 incident was a whole nother story. I lost trust in people. I had no fun in the community anymore. I almost left the internet as a whole because my grandma died was assigned just, the usual cyberbullying and predators of the internet, that Dateline overhyped. But eventually got back on track, made new friends, and made a new website on free forums in 2010. I did make up with Amanda eventually, and we became friends again because she realized her mistakes. And even though the 2 bullies apologized, I didn't buy it because I'm never gonna accept them for what they did to my website. What they did to an 11-year-old passion. Because they wouldn't accept someone not playing the hardcore way. But that's my ramble over. At least the forum that I made in 2010 was the same forum that I made the Seafoam Gaming in 2014 and reviewed games on. And now Seafoam Gaming is this YouTube channel you're watching right now. So at least it helped me with my career on the internet. But now back to more enlightening and funner stuff instead of being sad about getting cyberbullied. And if you 2 guys somehow find this video, and even if you're sorry as heck and begging for me to forgive you, I will not accept the apology. For the fact that you basically harassed me with just jokes about it and never confessed. Well, you did confess, but you never really stood up for being a jerk like that. I'm not gonna forgive you, and I have no reason to. To me, you're just as bad as the people who basically abused me when I was a kid, and who basically nearly killed me and my mom when I was a kid. You're just as bad as that murderous, evil person I dealt with, and my mom dealt with, and my aunt dealt with. You know, you didn't try to kill me, and had no intentions to, you're still very bad people. And you know, there's a bunch of internet trolls that are pretty much the same, and some that have done crimes in the real world. You 2 are the worst. You'll never get my apologies.
So 2009 ended on a bad note, and I was still making some new friends to replace the old ones I lost or who weren't even my friends at all thanks to that league. So 2010 was a lot better. Though the e-reader trading board died, and I had to stop trading because no one was even offering cards anymore. Besides me and that Cornwallis guy I mentioned earlier, who was very nice. The community helped me name my first cat, they helped me write a guide that's still up to this very day, and I met a lovely moderator named Eolite who helped me with the moderation of those bullies a while ago, and she also became one of my very best friends to this very day. This was also when I learned about E3 in full and got excited for new game announcements, and it led me and some friends to getting super excited for the announcement of the Nintendo 3DS. E3 2009 had nothing of importance, so no one really talked about it on the site, but E3 2010 had the site staff post an announcement mentioning rumors of an Animal Crossing game for the brand new 3DS. So I watched it on G4 in my vacation cabin and was blown away by the 3DS. And sure enough, Animal Crossing was there, just teased with nothing really new shown off. But despite a brand new Kid Icarus being announced, I was more focused on Animal Crossing and expected it to launch right around the 3DS did. I hoped for it to be late 2010. With the entire forum speculating about what features would be included and having high expectations of it coming out very soon. The game didn't come out until 3 years later in 2013, and by late 2010 my activity on the site slowed down tremendously since I was on the 3DS hype train and approaching 13 years of age, so I had a bunch of sites bookmarked that I would join once I was of age. Plus, Selby forums allowed underage people, so I was able to post on there too. So Pokemon was a higher priority for me than Animal Crossing. So I ended up drifting away from the site since my friends had also grown old and sick of the wait for the 3DS game, and Luna1997/Amanda and I reconciled and became friends, as I mentioned earlier. So we did a Pokemon-centric YouTube channel together for my currently new website, Battlezone. Since she was of age to make a YouTube account, but I wasn't, so we could do it as a co-channel of sorts. Leading to my first experiences on YouTube. Wherever you are, Amanda, I still thank you for all the great times we had and for being one of my best friends despite that rocky moment. It wasn't until 2013 that I had a reason to return to my home ground with the release of New Leaf. Unfortunately, despite a lot of my friends returning to play the game, and me with meeting a couple of new friends while playing New Leaf, the game disappointed me greatly, mainly due to the lack of voice chat making online play meaningless to me, and in comparison, Wii Speak having so much more to do than 3DS's nothing outside texting. That was really clunky and boring, and not fun. But even my grandma got into fun during the Wii Speak era by having her own account on the website. Seriously, in 2009 and 2010, she had an account on the website. She would play Animal Crossing on GameCube with me off and on, and Wii sometimes with my assistance, since she didn't know how to save properly. But she still had a ton of fun, and it was a fun experience for the both of us. Playing games, bonding, doing stuff for the town. It was a lot of fun. So I ended up encouraging her to make an account in late 2009 to help me and maybe meet some people for herself, and would you know it, she actually did! I was so proud of her, but she didn't really do much besides talk about basics, ask for advice, ask how to save, and go on a few Wi-Fi sessions that I helped her set up because I wanted to make sure she knew how to connect and talk with WeSpeak. So I sat with her when she did the Wi-Fi, but she did all this stuff on her own for the most part. She even stuck up for me when I was cyberbullied, but she knew it was better for her to stay out of and, talk to me about in person than online. The site had a strict one account rule, and we followed it pretty well despite us being in the same house, because we checked the moderators, made sure everything was okay, and she had some fun with the site. So I was far more active than she ever was. I'd still have to turn on the Wii, set up the game, and show her where to go during the Wi-Fi sessions, along with showing her what buttons did what on the forum, but it's the only time my grandmother got deeply involved with the same kind of video games that I did. And it's one of my most precious memories from that time, having her join an internet community with me and having a good time. Some people thought we were the same person since our grammar was so similar, though my grandma used caps lock for the first few posts, and that was far from the truth that we were the same person because I only stepped in to edit her grammar because if I didn't, she'd type in caps lock, and eventually she did so on her own anyway, just type normally. So she wanted the word spelled some way or wanted me to fix her grammar, I'd do it for her. But she did all the stuff on her own. She hasn't been on the site for ages, and I don't think she'll ever hop on again because she has no reason to play games, unfortunately. So, with New Leaf being a disappointment for me, and with this dog, Isabelle, being the bane of my existence, in a way, I pretty much dropped Animal Crossing as a franchise. I still pop into the forum now and then to say hi to old friends, give a visit, say hello to Eolite, the mod, but without good modern Animal Crossing keeping me engaged and with city folks' Wi-Fi shutting down, the only Animal Crossing I still enjoy is the GameCube one, and that's not easy to set up or play thanks to my memory card situation. The spin-offs didn't engage me, and neither did the Amiibo update for New Leaf, so while everyone else was starved for Animal Crossing Switch, I had no care in the world as I felt I aged out of it. I wasn't excited for the new game at all, and I still am not. I need to see it more before I actually can get interested. And maybe you'll not have the same problems that make New Leaf not fun to me. Maybe it'll let me not necessarily play NES games, but maybe I can voice chat with friends. Maybe stuff's easier to build. Maybe there's lots of stuff to donate to the museum, like the old days. The only thing keeping me linked to this franchise at this point in time is this forum, for introducing me to the beautiful world known as the internet, and helping me find a bunch of new friends and learn more about myself despite some rough patches. If it wasn't for Animal Crossing community, I wouldn't have tried writing on fanfiction.net, which meant I wouldn't have had gone on DeviantArt and written those weird stories that end up reawakening flashbacks in me and finding out more about my past and teaching me to confront it, which meant I would have never gotten the skills I need to review games on the forum, like I do now, and Eolite is my best friend on the entire site, and I especially thank her for giving me advice throughout so many rough times on the site in the past decade. Seriously, she's probably the best moderator of any site I've ever been on the past 10 years. and she's honestly the main reason I pop in every now and then since most of my other friends from that time period have left. This community may have been a rough start and is dormant now, since Animal Crossing's kind of in hibernation, but means so much to me, and I have a bunch of great memories on this place that I will cherish forever.
10 years on the internet can be rough for people. Some may not even think anything of it because the internet was only made like 20, 30 years ago. But for me, it changed my life. Animal Crossing community, that awful cyberbullying incident that was in private threads aside, was an amazing community. I met so many great friends. I haven't really talked to any of them today because they're still scattered all over the internet webs. And my friend Amanda, despite our falling out a while ago, at least we made up and became good friends again. Though I don't know where she is now, but I hope she's doing okay. And thank you for helping me gather the courage to make my first few videos on our old YouTube channel. But yeah, Animal Crossing community, it's still up. You can still join. You can still talk about Animal Crossing. If you play a 3DS game, you can still play with people on Wi-Fi. I have no reason to, because I don't like New Leaf, and I don't have voice chat to talk to people with. And Discord exists. I can basically do anything I want to on that site on Discord. But overall, Animal Crossing community means a lot to me. It's the first internet forum I ever joined. It's the first internet forum I ever got attached to. It's the first place I met internet friends. It's the first time I learned a lot of stuff about life. It's the first time I dealt with cyberbullying. It's the first time I dealt with losing friends. And it's the first time I really learned how to write. It basically made me who I was. And even though I mentioned stuff like DeviantArt and fanfiction.net in the past, this site is still something I love. It's still a site I love, and Eolite for being a mod the past 10 years. Wow! You are an amazing person. You were the one who helped me through tough times. I believe you were even the one who gave me some advice on when those cyberbullies were bullying me back in the day. It was just a good time, and you helped me so much over the years. When my cat Honey died, you dug up the old private message where I talked to people and talked about how I found this cat and how I want to name her, and they gave me suggestions. I didn't lose any of them, but the memories you dug up, and I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the community for helping me through tough times. I'm thankful for meeting a lot of great people, and I'm thankful for the e-reader community for getting me into trading and collecting e-reader cards. I can't ever complete my collection, I don't think, but maybe someday I will, and if I do, this 10 plus year journey will be not in vain. I may not be in the series now. I may think New Leaf is boring. I may hate Isabelle because of what the internet has done to her. But needless to say, I think Animal Crossing can still be a good game for everyone. I don't know if the new game will come out this year, because it doesn't look like it. I don't know if it'll even have voice chat to keep me interested. But if it does, I think I'll give Animal Crossing community a spin for old time's sake, and meet with some friends on the site. I think I'll go into Discords and meet my current friends on Animal Crossing for Switch. So that's all for this special episode of Eternal Memories. Even though it got a bit rambly at points, I hope you enjoyed this long tale into my internet history. And maybe you had your own site that got into internet forums. Or maybe you found some YouTuber that taught you to be yourself. Or some community that taught you to be yourself. Or maybe you have an inspirational person like Eolite is to me. Whatever the case, let me know in the comments. I want to hear your stories. And to this Sugar Bob guy, if you ever find this video, thank you for helping me out in the time of need and for helping me with my collection. Maybe we can be friends again, because it was just a one deal trade. Maybe we can be friends, I don't know. And to those two bullies, I'll still never forgive you. But if you really have changed, then use that change to better the world. Donate to charity, donate to LGBT causes, donate to trans rights and stuff to make sure that my friends in the trans community won't get bullied and silenced for no reason. There are lots of needs that you can help with, even if you're the worst person ever, and I still will never forgive you personally. You can at least not be as bad of a person as you were back then. And hey, maybe that Nick guy was just an innocent teenager being a troll for lols, and maybe the Joey guy was the one who was a creep. But I don't know. Both of them are equally bad in my book, and I just can't forgive them. But yeah, that'll do it for this episode, And next time I'll cover my favorite accessory for the Nintendo GameCube, the Game Boy Player. Thanks for watching. Bye!